Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I was thinking about the fact, actually, that I'm last, and the fact that there's a pro and con to that, right? The pro is that I really do get to take a moment to appreciate and affirm everything we've heard from our amazing speakers tonight. And the con is that I'm the reason we're still here, right? Nonetheless, I'm extremely humbled, excited, and honored, really, to have this opportunity to speak to you today. As an avid viewer, watcher, and supporter of TED and TEDx, please take a moment and thank the TEDxCrawfordRoad team for bringing this amazing event to our community in the place that many of us love and get to call home, Rockville. Awesome. So I'm excited, so we can go ahead and jump in. So a little about myself. So growing up, I always knew and believed that I could change the world. I mean, literally change the world. In fact, I was set on becoming the first Black president. And even though President Barack Obama beat me to the punch, and I'm okay with that, I still live my life every single day from the lens of working to create as much change and impact as possible. As much change and impact as possible. And we all have the opportunity and possibility to do that same exact thing. Today, speaking with you, I really want to hone in on the power of the village and the power of community. When thinking about the power of the village and the power of the community, it's really a chance to really think about all of those who have come before us, who march alongside us, and those who inspire to do the same in the future. When I think about community, I don't only think about large-scale movements, but I think about the work of the individual that has the power to change the collective. Those are people that many of us know. Some of them may be Oprah Winfrey, who's one of my personal favorites, who curated one of the top-rated shows, most viewed shows in history of its time. There's people like Stacey Abrams, who worked to register over 800,000 voters in the state of Georgia. There are people like Steve Jobs, who had this idea or the spark around this idea of the Apple product, which many of us can't keep out of our hands today. Then there's others we know, such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Alicia Garza, who's the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter movement. But then there's people that many of us may not know, right? And those are people like the Friendship Nine and the City Girls, and not those City Girls, even though I love them, but the ones from right here in Rock Hill, South Carolina, who peacefully yet powerfully walked into McCroy's lunch counter, an all-white lunch counter, and the height of racial segregation to say no more. Those are people like Brittany and Michael Kelly, who created the first ever Rock Hill Pride right here in our community. Those are people like my parents, who created an after-school program to serve hundreds of youth in our community, providing them with academic support and tutoring, nutritional meals and snacks, for many of them that was their only meal, and also providing them with extracurricular activities that expose them to a world beyond their wildest imagination. See, as someone who loves to talk, and as someone who wanted to be the president, the opportunity to present on bold solutions is a dream come true for me. Which is why I hate the fact that I struggled immensely to think about the topic or concept that I wanted to present to you today. And as I honed in on that feeling, it wasn't because that I liked the topic or an issue or concern. And it certainly isn't because I can't talk because I love to talk for those who know me. But in a world of such social unrest, the question was really about what particular issue, topic, or concern do I choose to highlight? Do I utilize this platform to bring light to the Black Lives Matter movement and the fact that women, particularly Black women, are the most oppressed in our society? Do I use this time to shine a light on LGBTQ plus rights and the fact that LGBTQ plus youth are 4 times more likely to commit suicide? Or do I talk about student debt and affordable housing, because we all know those are real issues as well? And I'm sure many of you in this space tonight have topics, issues, even solutions that you could present, and are just seeking the opportunity for those concerns to be seen, heard, and felt. But that's the thing, right? When you finally have the opportunity to be seen, heard, and felt, what do you say? So I choose to utilize this moment to not hone in on one issue or concern, but to bring light to one solution that is powerful enough to solve any issue or concern. And that's the power of community and the power of the village. See, when I think about community, again, it's not only about large-scale movements, but it's the work of the individual that can drive us forward as a collective. I think about all those names that I just mentioned, and all of those represent community, but community is also the very people that are in this room tonight. Community is you, community is myself. Community are the very people who push forward the Me Too movement in a world where the voices of the oppressed are often silenced. Community is the relationship that I built with my therapist to get over a bad breakup. Community is the couple in front of me at the airport last week who allowed me to skip them in line because I was running late for my flight, which is very common. All of these examples are community, represent the places not only where we are, but where we can go collectively. And I know this sounds like a hand-holding fest, I know. But what can really happen if we truly leaned into the power of community, into the power of the village? See, it was community that pushed me through college as a first-generation college student, especially during my master's, because we all know that amount of reading is not necessary. That's community. That's community. So my question today is, what will we do with the power that we have individually to lead to the work of the collective? 2020 was an interesting year for all of us. Even 2020 and 2021 were interesting years for all of us, especially in light of COVID. But it became an even interesting year for me as it was a year that I decided to no longer have certain layers of my identity. As a Black queer male, I've often experienced the other that come with being a member of the LGBTQ+ community. And many of that othering has caused me to live my life in fear and shame. And this year I decided to remove that mask and no longer hide in that fear and in that shame, not in a way just to tell my story, but to affirm the lived experience of so many others who identify just like me. So again, this opportunity was not just about sharing my story, but how do I utilize my opportunity, my power, my privilege, to utilize my voice for others who don't or can't do the same. And that's the same opportunity we all have here today. So when we think about everything that we heard today, we heard an amazing speech around body positivity. And even though I hope that speech leads to programs and initiatives and even policy, that's no more or less important than me utilizing my voice and going to Nicole individually to let her know that she's enough just as she is. And that's the power that each of us have. As Dr. Johnson talked about the power to change our youth, that's just not on teachers, that's just not on parents. That's on each of us as community members. So where do we truly go from here, right? Because community changed my life. As I think about me removing my mask to tell the story about my sexuality, it wasn't a sense of arrival that led me to that place. And it certainly just wasn't confidence that helped me make that decision. Community did that. My village did that. See, it wasn't just one spark or just one person. It was person after person, voice after voice, spark after spark, action after action, moment after moment that changed my life. And that's the very thing that would change this community. It's spark after spark, moment after moment, voice after voice, and action after action that led us to the Clinton Connection Action Plan and the We Got Next initiative. Clinton Connection Action Plan is a strategy to really think about the upward mobility of the places, spaces, and people of South Rock Hill, which is where we are geographically located at this very moment. It's a plan to improve the overall quality of life of the citizens and residents of South Rock Hill that has been forgotten for far too long. When we think about that plan is about housing, affordable housing, mixed housing, in a community that has faced the side effects of gentrification and community redevelopment for far too long. It's a plan that includes a grocery initiative on a side of town where there is no grocery store, where your only options are Family Dollar, Dollar General, or convenience store. And even though those are fine, think about the fact that many of us in this room tonight have the opportunity and or privilege to walk to the nearest Harris Teeter, Publix, or Kroger in our community. It's a plan to elevate the Emmett Scott Center, which is where we are tonight for this amazing event. To think about really elevating the space, this amazing auditorium we're in tonight, to make it state of the art, so that our children can dream and see the possibilities and expose them to the world of the arts. It's a plan that really thinks about the focused improvements to the parks in South Rock Hill, where there are only limited amounts of swings and an open field to think about baseball or football. But really taking those parks to the next level to include walking trails, so a father can get his 10,000 steps in while his daughter plays soccer. It's the Bell Incubator for Economic and Social Impact, which is a hub for productivity on the south side of town. A space where students can come, parents, organizations, entrepreneurs can come and dream and believe. That's the plan for the south side of Rock Hill. And it's not a plan that I created, but it's a plan for the community, by the community. And it's community that would drive that plan forward. So as we think about that plan, right, it sounds great on paper, it sounds great as I'm saying the words, but how do we move that plan from paper to practice? How do we make any change happen in our communities? And that's where we all come in. It's through using our time, our talents, and our treasures. It's utilizing our time to invest in the people as volunteers and mentors within our community. It's utilizing our treasures, not only invest in the people, but to invest with our resources, our dollars. It's investing in our communities. It's investing in our small businesses, investing in our small Black businesses, investing in our small Black businesses in South Rock Hill and in your community as well. And it's utilizing our talents, whatever that may be, to contribute to the greater good. Even if that talent is just your voice. We've all showcased that tonight for you. That even your voice is powerful enough to create change. So what will you do with that power? What will you do with that power? How will you create change in your community? See, community changed my life. In fact, community saved my life. And community is the very thing that will save South Rock Hill, the very thing that can save your community, our community, and our world. Thank you.